Famcast Media, bitch.
So the year is 2020, and emo might be making a comeback. Good.
Hey, what's up? I'm Raven, your acid bath princess of the darkness.
And I'm Tara.
And we're sitting here in Tara's room, rocking out to MCR and celebrating 2009, or the new year! Which we don't really understand why people are making such a big deal about it, because really, one more year is one more year that everyone's closer to death. Whatever, suit yourself, humanity.
Congratulations.
Yeah, when you're closer to death.
If I die and go to hell real soon, it will appear to me as this room. And for eternity I'd lay in bed in my boxers, half stone, with a pillow under my head.
Does that song sound familiar to you? Well, if it does, chances are you're probably an emo kid back in 2006. If not, that band is called Say Anything. And I remember the day I played this song in front of my father, and let me just tell you, the look on his face was absolutely unforgettable. My mother, on the other hand, well, she hated my emo stage. I was pretty much taking my first steps into a larger and, well, a darker world. My first social media account was on a website called LoudFusion. And for those that don't know, LoudFusion was one of those websites you went to when you were too young to sign up for MySpace, and where you could stream music without accidentally, downloading a virus. LimeWire. I met so many other emo kids online. We all pimped out our profiles with sparkly letters, posted comics of Pawn and Z. I'm not even sure if are those comics still around or no? And we jammed out to anime music, as well as various different emo, punk, and alternative bands, such as My Chemical Romance, Linkin Park, Avril Lavigne, Fall Out Boy, Paramore, Alkaline Trio, The Fray, Evanescence, OTEP, and my personal favorite, Black Veil Brides. But they didn't really show up until later on, around 2008 to 2009. Those were the days. Painting your nails black, wearing eyeliner, putting on Abby Dawn. And for those that don't know, Abby Dawn was Avril Lavigne's clothing line. Literally, all of the emo kids were wearing Abby Dawn. Just about every emo kid in the early 2000s owned a pair of Vans, Osiris's. I still got mine. Still got mine right here. Can still fit them too. Yep, my feet have always been a size 12. Osiris's, Vans, Skechers, Converse's, and Becky Bones. Literally, all the emo girls wore Becky Bones. That was like the most popular one. And at this time, I thought that emo was going to eventually take over the world. And so did many other people.
As we can see from this graph, by 2015, over 45% of the world's population will be emo. By 2020, a shocking 87%. And by 2025, it'll probably have blown over.
Hell, they were already talking about it on the national news, and most of my online emo friends were from other countries as well.
Live from WDAZ, your home team. This is WDAZ News at 10.
It started out as a way of music, then clothing, but this fad is turning dangerous in some schools. Good evening. It's short for emotional.
But emo is a type of fashion that has gone to extremes in area schools. WDAZ's Lacey Chris talked to students today about what can be a very dangerous behavior.
Emo. It's a fashion that has turned deadly. Emo, it started out as a type of music and is warped into a lifestyle.
I see it as people who are expressing their pain through their actions, whether it be cutting, writing, lyrics, music. It's their expression, and I don't think we understand it because we don't have that pain, we don't have those imbalances.
It's a group of people, they're very emo, short for emotional, and so I know that some of them cut themselves and that they like to wear tight clothes.
Yes, I can confirm that there are literally some emos behind me as we speak. And the question on everybody's lips is, what is an emo and how can I be one?
You gotta slit your wrists.
A lot of crying.
It's a fad that's popped up in our area in the past year. Kids dress in dark clothes, dark hair.
Not what you'd say gothic, but close to it. There's no boots, there's no chains, stuff like that, but it's all black hair, hair that covers half your face, covers one eye, and the point of that is to only see the world in half view.
Deputy Mager learned about emos firsthand at home with his daughter, and then more at work. Emos, or emotional people, are first noticed by what they wear, but it's what they do that is dangerous.
Emo hug!
They gotta be really deep and complicated.
Boys wearing girls' trousers and really tight tops.
You gotta have a MySpace.
And just because you're gay or bisexual does not mean you're emo.
But if you're emo, do you have to be gay or bisexual?
I haven't got a clue because I'm not emo.
Gender bending is also part of the emo culture. Boys wear girl pants and makeup.
I do see a lot of kids who do a lot of gender bending type of, they're exploring the boundary.
They wear girl pants. Yes, girl pants are a must. Can you bend over comfortably in them?
Hair, straight or modified mohawks.
Multicolored hair, the spike.
And makeup from powder to eyeliner.
A lot of eyeliner.
All I gotta say is you can still be a manly man and wear makeup.
The look of the fashion is not the bad thing. There's a difference between looking it and acting it. The acting of the fashion is where the more depressed you look, the more points you earn.
Emo is found in books, magazines, even the hit movie Spider-Man 3. Well, parents, there are some dangerous elements to this culture psychologists say you need to know about. And we want to warn you that some of what you are about to see is created by teens and maybe just a little bit disturbing.
Where's your heart?
It is sadness. It's rage. It is pain. The emo culture expressed through music, imagery, and fashion.
The sound is intense. The look distinctive.
Hair that covers one part of their eye.
The feeling dark and angry.
Anger, rage, heartache.
These are emo scene kids, but if you're over 25, you've probably never heard of them.
Scene kids. Definitely emo scene kids.
They trace their roots from early punk rock to goth to emo, short for emotional hardcore.
We started our investigation into this underground culture of kids who wear black clothing and hair on the internet, where quickly we found thousands of websites defining it.
Emo is short for emotional, meaning full of feeling.
What am I supposed to do with all these emotions I have inside?
Avoid happiness. Happiness is a cardinal sin in the emo culture.
There's even an internet quiz for kids to determine if they too are emo.
Black like my soul, red like blood. My heart was born broken, it says.
But we didn't have to go to the internet to learn about emo culture in Utah. Every teenager we asked quickly said emo is everywhere.
Wear black. Is always depressed, sadness, and basically keeping themselves.
Emo started spreading on the internet, it just exploded. Scene kids now pack clubs across Southern California with scores of young bands.
We're pretty in stereo!
The music is embraced by millions of kids struggling with deep, intensely personal, emotional issues.
My parents were, deported, and I live here with someone who isn't really a relative of mine. And I get really depressed sometimes, but I just put in the Black Parade, and I'm like, I know there's something I relate to, and something that makes me want to keep on living. It's like the media have made up this thing that are trying to scare parents into thinking if their child is emo, they're going to self-harm, they're going to want to commit suicide and get into depressing music and do drugs. It's like bands.
Madam, what makes an emo?
You make an emo.
We think they're here for a gig. They might just be here for a fight. Either way, it's been a great experience. Back to you.
Now, being that I come from a very Christian family, I'm pretty sure you can see why my mom and dad didn't really agree with me being emo. I remember one time I was talking to my stepmother about it, and the first thing that she brought up was Columbine, even though, well, those kids technically weren't emo, and they had problems long before, even though Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold weren't exactly emo. To be honest, they weren't exactly goth either. They were part of they started their own little clique called the Trenchcoat Mafia, and they had all sorts of problems before that, but I don't think it has anything to do with goths, emos, Satanists, or whatever the hell. Like I said, you know, the extremist Christians will try to blame Columbine on practically anything. But let me get back on topic. So as a teenager, I thought that this movement would be global. Yes, my teenage self thought that my emo days would last forever. But sadly, those good days came to an end. Loud Fusion got shut down in 2012. By that time, I had already, you know, made the switch to Facebook. Now, the 300 friends that I've had on Loud Fusion, I've only kept in contact with maybe 1 or 2 of them. And that was almost... last time I heard from them was almost a year ago, so... Since then, websites like Loud Fusion were either being, you know, bought out by major corporations, being shut down, or they had their user base merged with Facebook, so there was no point in having these websites still operational. You know, bands stopped having their music videos played on television, guitar sales ripped down, rap and hip-hop and R&B surpassed rock as the most listened to genre in the United States, and just like the internet, the music industry became more and more commercialized. You know, it's gotten so bad that Billboard, yes, that Billboard, named 21 Pilots and Imagine Dragons as rock bands.
What did you say, nigga?
Yep, I'm dead serious. I wish I was joking at this point. But we've all heard the song Believer before. I mean, you've got to be kidding me, that's not rock, that's pop music. To quote from the Limousines, these kids are disco dancing, they're tired of rock and roll. I try to tell them that the drum machine ain't got no soul. But they don't want to listen, they think they heard it all. They traded the guitars in for drum machines and disco balls. But that might change, you know, sites like Instagram have seen a resurgence in the emo hashtag. Ever since the rise of the new e-boy and e-girl subculture on TikTok, the emos of the previous generations all came out of the woodwork. Also, My Chemical Romance started making music again, which makes me question whether or not the emo subculture even died in the first place. Perhaps just became less mainstream and more underground. Many people thought that punk died out, but it's been around for over 50 years, and the music is still alive and well. They also said the same thing about goths, you know, but in the past few years I've met quite a lot of goths in New York and Pennsylvania, and based off of my Bandcamp recommendations, a lot of these, you know, alternative and emo bands are also releasing new content. You remember Danger Club, the band I reviewed last summer?
This next song is off our debut album called The Good Times Are Over. This song is called Panic. Time to fucking panic!
Well, guess what? They released a new preview of the album called Caustic and Exhausted. And the Massachusetts band Mall Cops just released an album this month called We Made Plans to Self-Destruct and Return to the Stars. To quote from the Limousines again, you know we never listen, we think we've seen it all. Like everything we've doing, no one's ever done before. Did you hear what they said? That rock and roll is dead? Yep, it's like a zombie. It'll dig itself back up again. And that's probably the trend that we're seeing at this point in 2020. But, you know, it's still January. Maybe 2020 is the year when all of the alternative bands, you know, just rise like phoenixes. I mean, after all, you know, It's the beginning of the month, things are starting to look promising, so let's hope that trend continues in the future for the rest of the year. And in the meantime, you know, we can't slack off either. You know, we still gotta continue to support local bands, go to local venues, and it's people like us, people like me and you, that are keeping this scene alive, you know. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm really wanting to know your opinions on this. Will 2020 be the year where emo and goth and all the subcultures rise to the top again? Or will it be another disappointment? But let me know in the comments. Until next time, rawr, 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 and stay metal.
An emo is rubbing up against me as we speak. These emos are truly disgusting. It's making me feel a little sick right now. I can tell you the crowd is turning hostile. I was once in Basra and it was nothing like this. That is all I can say. Emos are not only taking over the country, they're also ruining it. Back to you.